Hello, hello. Gonna pull a couple cards for the weekend just to see what we've got in store, what Spirit wants us to know or be on the lookout for. I do offer private readings. If you have questions, you can visit my website, or it's tarotbenji@gmail.com if you just want to email me directly. But let's pull a couple cards and see what is in store for us over these next couple days. That one popped out. Knight of Swords, or Brother Wind, as it's called in this deck. I think we had that last time, didn't we? And it came up reversed again? I'll have to double check, but I think we had that also. All right, so let's see. Brother Wind, Knight of Swords coming up reversed again. So again, I think there is an issue with the way that you're communicating or the stories that you're telling. Swords in particular can a lot of times have to do with like the mental realm, the internal stories, the lies that we tell ourselves as much as the truths that we tell. And the knights are that middle ground, right? Of like experimentation and inquisition, asking questions, figuring things out. But there's also being a knight, being on horseback with weapons and artillery. There is sometimes a short fuse. I think with a Knight of Swords in particular, there can be a quickness or a sharpness with words, maybe not necessarily considering the weight that words have, where it's just if a word is a word, then you use it however you want, not taking into account the actual weight that it carries. So that comes into play in the way that we communicate with other people, but also the way that we communicate with ourselves, the way that we allow people to talk to us. If you aren't considering the weight that your words have, you can get into some sticky situations. What else has come up? We have the 10 of Water, the 10 of Cups. In this deck, it's called the Fountain of Love, which I like. And then we also have the 6 of Winds, or the 6 of Swords. In this deck, it's also called Clarity. So definitely a shift. Here we have the Brother Wind, the reversed card. Again, shifting away from that mindset, or taking more care and consideration in what you are saying and how you are saying it, will hopefully lead to 10 of Water, 10 of Cups, this fountain of love, where you get to a place where if you're able to make these energetic shifts, you get to a place where love and happiness and joy and romance flows easily, like quite literally like a fountain, where you get to the place where you don't have to think about it anymore. Tens are like the ultimate achievement. You reach that final pinnacle, and then sort of the story starts over and you start a new cycle. But tens are that final point where you're like, this is what it is. This is the pinnacle. This is the apex of what you can get. And with it being the 10 of Water, 10 of Cups, fountain of love, that true bliss, that true connection, that true completeness and wholeness when it comes to unifying your happiness and your joy and your emotions and the connections and relationships that you link with other people. And then finally, we also have 6 of Wands, 6 of Swords, called Clarity in this deck. So again, got 2 Wind cards coming up, 2 Swords cards, still talking about communication and words and the thought process and like living in that mental realm. With the 6 of Wands, like the traditional deck, it's that woman on the boat sort of like transversing from one side of the riverbank to the other side of the riverbank. So there's a journey involved. There's leaving behind things that are no longer serving you and moving on to something that is. And so I think that's what that clarity comes with, is like things will begin to make more sense. It can be difficult to leave those things behind, particularly if they're comfortable or they are sources of habit or encouragement. It can be difficult to leave things behind. But with that comes the clarity to like see things as they actually are, authentically, honestly, truthfully, which is all that wind sword energy is like, cut the bullshit away and what's the truth of the matter. So I think that's kind of nice. But again, that's so interesting that that card came up again. It's a lesson that bears repeating, I guess. But there's an adjustment to be made with the Knight of Swords, with the Brother Wind in this deck. The way that you talk, the weight that your words have, how you were using your words, your language, your communication. making those adjustments, making those little fine-tuning, those honing in on things, will allow you to get to a place of the fountain of love, that 10 of Cups, where it becomes easier to just let your emotions be. It becomes easier for happiness and joy to flow through you. And then finally getting to a true sense of like mental clarity, where the bullshit's cut away and things just like make sense. Things are illuminated in a way that you haven't noticed before. But it all starts with adjusting that Knight of Swords energy. I hope that helps. If any of this resonated with you, drop me a comment below so I know that you guys are watching. And we'll see what comes up next time.